Melissa Kitto, and today we're going to talk about one of the most highly requested videos from my clients, which is they're asking me the question, what happens to my loved ones when they pass on? Well, I have some tips to share with you to help you with this process, so stay tuned. Well, there's really two different scenarios that could happen. One is that they remain earthbound, and one is that they go to the light. So let me back up a bit here. Here's a spiritual truth for you. You are a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. The real you is energy, light, spirit. In medieval times, they used to do paintings where you would see the halo or the energy around people. And in those paintings, they were depicting the soul part that you might see as the aura or energy around a person. That is the real you. Your body is just a vehicle that you use while you're here on planet Earth so that you can learn and grow and experience. So when a person passes on, they're simply leaving their body behind. There's no such thing as death. It's just a transition. It's the soul departing from the body that it's been borrowing for a few years. But it's just a transition because you've done it many, many times before. But of course, when one of your loved ones passes on, it's not always an easy thing to handle for those of us that are left behind, still in the physical body. And so I want to share a few tips for you that will help you to deal with that scenario when it happens in your life. So like I said earlier, there's two scenarios. They could become stuck or they could follow the lights. So if a person maybe passes on very suddenly or unexpectedly, or they're holding on to a lot of the things of planet Earth, the people they knew, the work they did, the food they ate, the alcohol they drank, whatever it might be, but they're still attached. Or maybe they feel like they have unfinished business and they're confused, they don't realize they're dead. At those times, a soul may become stuck or confused. In ALC, we call it a confused soul. They're not bad or evil, they're just confused. Now, when my father died in 2006, he passed on very suddenly and very unexpectedly. He was actually driving to work and he had a heart attack and pretty much died instantly. So when I got the phone call telling me that my father had passed on, I was in complete shock. Well, imagine how my dad felt. He was in shock too, and he was the one that suddenly was no longer in the physical world. He'd been jolted out of that body. And I remember I could feel him come around me in those first few days after he'd passed on, and he felt very anxious. He had a lot of questions. He was confused. And luckily, I was able to share some things to help him understand what had happened, and some other family members did that as well. So he was able to regroup some unfinished business. And that's what many souls will do. You'll feel them maybe more strongly around you in the first week or two because they're just wrapping things up. They're saying goodbye. They're letting go of everything they've been involved in for the last 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. Okay? But that doesn't mean that they really belong here. Once a soul has regrouped themselves, they really need to move out. Our true home is the universe or God or the all. Planet Earth is a spiritual school, but we're just visiting here. It's not our true home. It's like a hotel that we check into every morning. And, when that time has passed, when your spiritual lessons are completed, it's time to move out. So if you've had a loved one that's passed on and you're wanting them to be around you, you want to talk to them, you want to feel them close by, that's not really in that soul's best interest, and it's not in your best interest too. Spiritually, that soul needs to move out, and they'll see their angels around them through this whole process. They're not alone. And once they're ready, their angels will take them out. And that's why you might hear us say following the lights, because they see those lights and they move out. But if you cling to that soul or yearn for them, you're actually keeping them stuck. What's best for you and them is to release them and let them go and let them be free. Now, of course, the other scenario that might happen is that a soul has regrouped themselves and they're ready to go. And that's really what you want. I know that's hard to say when it's your husband or your wife or your mother or your child, but spiritually, they don't belong here anymore, and the best healing you can give them is to let them go. Now, when my mother-in-law passed away, she did not hang around for 1 minute. She had her direction, she was ready to go, and she went out, she went straight home to the universe. And that's great. You know, she had her direction and she went, and she's now free. Now, you may feel your loved ones come around you from time to time, but it's different from being yearning or stuck or confused or influencing you. If they have their angels with them, they may come to visit from time to time. You still have an affinity and a connection with that soul. So, for example, when my son was born, I felt my father come around and visit much more often than usual because he wanted to meet his grandson, and he just felt a pull to be around that whole experience. And I could feel his presence, but there was no yearning or confusion. It was just a connection, and then he moved out again. And I can honestly say I haven't felt him around for a good year or more, and that's great. I have no desire for that because I know that I'll see him again down the road. So I hope that this helps you to get some understanding of what happens when a soul passes on. They need to go out with their lights and regroup. And if you feel like a soul is stuck around you, just share with them what I've shared with you today and help them to follow the lights, because the planet needs more healing, not more confusion. So if you enjoyed this video tip, I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and visit our website, communicatewithangels.com, for some free resources, including a PDF that tells you the 3 steps to communicating with your angels. Enjoy, and I will speak with you again soon.